Hi all, it's 2024. It's been over a year since I built my last LEGO set. So come with me as I embark to build the Great Waves. This LEGO art set is based off the Great Waves by Hokusai. The image itself is quite symbolic, an important Japanese change to society, with Mount Fuji being a strong figure in the background. With a whopping 1,810 pieces and some very creative uses of pieces I've not seen before, needless to say, I'm gonna have my work cut out for me. Good job, I have a very patient partner. So come with me as we take on the Great Wave. So, now we've got all the introduction out of the way, let's build it. So as we open the box here and pull out the numerous bags of how much we've got to do here, I can't help but reflect on how much has changed since starting the channel, and even as little as last year, and you know, all of which I'll go into a little bit later in the video. So as we start, open the first page of the manual, we have these large pallet pieces, almost going to act as a canvas once they're all built together. The first part of this build is very detail heavy with lots and lots of small pieces, but first things first, you're organised by colour. The greatest tip I can give anyone that's attempting to build this is always colour coordinate your pieces. So by shape or size, you can always go to that colour and be like, right, that's the next thing I need. The instructions, I've got to give them the credit, they were actually very clear and concise. As you'll see a little bit later on in the build, you're going to have to put lots of dots in places in a certain formation, a certain pattern, and the instructions were very clear as to where they would need to be put. So well done LEGO, great instruction manual to start with. So there's not too much to explain here, the video is pretty self-exemplary, using white and blue tile pieces. We're starting to make that body of water, and we're doing it on these 6 different canvases, a little bit like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You're doing on one canvas and then you're going to connect it to the next, and this actually was quite a fun part of the build. It was very simple to get your head around. There was parts where me and my partner could basically kind of take on one piece together, and then sometimes we'd split off. She would work on one, I would work on the other, and then eventually form together to create a larger piece of the picture, which is great. Some people, I can imagine, would find this next part tedious. This is where all those smaller pieces come into play. Some people will find it therapeutic, some people might find it a little bit annoying. Myself, didn't find it so bad. I thought it was quite therapeutic. Honestly, was watching a series in the background at the time. If you were working on this build on your own, maybe my advice would be listen to some music to get past the parts that you find a little bit more mundane. But as eventually with all LEGO sets, once the smaller pieces all come together, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. As my partner and I work on this piece here, Let me know in the comments, what's the last Lego set you built? What's the biggest Lego set you've ever built? I'd love to know, because this has kind of turned into a yearly activity for myself, and it is fun to just record building a Lego set. But this time, this Lego set had a purpose, as you'll see a little bit towards the end of this video. But yes, I'd like to know, what's the biggest and what's the most recent Lego set you've built? As of recording this video, the channel has recently made it to 250 subscribers, which I'm absolutely thrilled to actually even have made it this far, to be honest with you. And I'll keep trying to make consistent entertaining content and improving it each time as I go. It may be not the fastest growing channel, but to me, it's special. The people that come back and tune in and watch what they're interested in. And I've always said on this channel is to entertain people, to make people laugh, make people smile, make people learn. And some videos don't do as well as others. To be very honest, some are a flop. But that's absolutely fine, because you have to be creative, you have to get out your comfort zone in order to grow and make things go from there, really. My dad always comes up with a quote, Rome wasn't always built in a day. And to me that quote just rings true and is very valid. So time and again I'll screenshot when I get to milestones on my phone, and I'll look back and be like, here's where I was when I had 50 subscribers, here's where I was when I had 100, here's today when I got 250. I mean, it's not all about growth, but it's about showing improvement and showing that you're learning and you're growing from that. I don't really care about the number so much, but that's kind of like an identifier to say things are going the right way. Things are going the right way. Ultimately, I do hope to one day gain 1,000 subscribers, but that will be for a lot of hard work and a lot of time put into this channel. Whether that comes in next year or in 10 years, I'll be proud of what I've achieved, and I'll be proud of all the videos I put out there, because they all were like a building block to get to this point. Ultimately, YouTube's hard, and I rate anyone out there that's got the confidence to put themselves out there and their ideas out there and actually do a little bit of good in the world. If it's entertain people and stuff, I generally rate people that have that something about them to put it all out there and try and make a positive change in someone's life. I think that's excellent, and that's what I strive to achieve on this channel, and hopefully you're around for the ride with me. Now, as you can see, the main piece itself is actually really coming together now, and you can start to see the illusion the bricks are starting to create. So this is the next stage. We've done the base. Now it's time to add very intricate little pieces that will make the world of difference and just make that 3D effect, like the waves are actually crashing and you can see some depth to them. One piece you might see during this set is actually little white Lego birds, like the dove pieces. Now, and the flower pieces as well actually. Both of these pieces are used really well to create this illusion of the waves popping out of the canvas, and I think they're excellent. That does give the model a bit more depth to it as well. And by that I mean that if you want to display this model, it may be something to be wary of if you're going to hang it on a wall or keep it somewhere on display, or you want to put it in protective casing. With all these extra pieces on top, it's another layer and they can protrude quite a little bit. Therefore, you may have to think of a deeper case in which to display this piece in. But that's just a little tip for if you are planning to display it in a frame or in a case, just so you're aware. Although saying that, like any Lego set, you don't always have to follow the instructions. If you prefer to have it as a more flat canvas and central art piece, maybe take off the bird pieces. They're probably the only pieces with the greatest height, I suppose you could say. So if you just take those pieces off, I'm pretty sure you could display it quite nicely as well. But again, if you've done this yourself, let me know. And with that, the main actual canvas piece was finished. Next part was much more simplest part of the build. Part 2, I'd say, is your frame. And a lot of this is repetition, but because the instructions are so easy to follow and you know exactly what you're doing, it's actually quite simplistic and you're following simple instructions. Ultimately, you're going to build your frame through having that first part of the build being so detail oriented and make sure all the pieces and tiles and specific intricate details were all in the correct places. This is just this is on the other end of the spectrum with that, and it's quite fun just to build the frame to proudly display your Lego Waves piece on. And additionally, to add, you were using such small pieces in the beginning, and now you get to just play with large pieces so your fingers won't hurt so much. That's something I definitely found towards the end of this build. Like, we did this all in one sitting, which took a little over 2.5 hours because you get in a mood and a rhythm, and this just being obviously the final part of the build, being with big bricks and not so small tiny studs piercing your fingers tips, it makes a world of difference, and it's a nice final mile, final home stretch for your build. As mentioned before, the original art piece actually invokes change. Well, flash forward today. Since starting the channel, I've lived in 3 different places. I'm now a homeowner. I've changed careers 3 times, went on a trip of a lifetime in a happy, healthy relationship, and now a parent to a very quirky fur baby. And you asked me that 3 years ago before I started the channel. I wouldn't believe any of that was possible. anything at all, let alone since even making the last Lego video a year ago. Most of those milestones have happened. So, I don't know, every time I look at this piece of art now, I think, wow, look at the changes. Look at the changes that are made since then. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of all those changes, and whatever you're going through in your life right now, you should be proud of the changes you're making in your life for the better. So, keep going. Remember just how amazing you actually are, because you are, and you deserve those nice things in life. You are amazing. If you need to hear that today, you are amazing. So here we finally are, the final piece of the build, and actually weirdly my most favourite bit was putting the white large tile pieces on to cover all the framework. I don't know, there's something satisfying about this. Even watching it now in post-edit, it's just fun, just watching all the white pieces just all come together and cover up the brown frame. I don't know what it is, it's just really, really satisfying, and I hope you've been enjoying this build as we go along with it too. Well, there we are, the last few final pieces going in, and that's the Lego video for 2024, all said and done. A recap of my year, the channel, and everything really. If you made it this far into the video, I sincerely want to say thank you so much for watching all the way, and you know, please comment down below as well and let us know your thoughts of this. I really hope you have enjoyed it, and a massive thank you to all of you. Because without you, I wouldn't be here today. Over 2 cups of tea later, 2.5 hours, and 3 pieces lost on the sofa, it's finished, it's finally done. And now it proudly hangs in our living room. I don't know what the future holds, and I hope it's a great 2024 for you. But I hope to see you again very soon. Please like and subscribe.